Hello, I'm Veronica Pagui. I'm going to be going over my Module 3 Usability and Reflection assignments. So, why the design model and what is the impact behind it? So, when you are creating and designing a course or any kind of coursework, it is important to have somebody rather than yourself look at the design to gather valuable feedback. So you can make sure that your coursework is effective, that there is no hidden agenda, that is transparent, and to make sure that you are aligned with everything that you have set out to do. I did formulate a feedback form for my evaluators on a Google form, and everything has been placed in my Google Classroom. Because that is a learning management system that McAllen ISD and Fields does use. I did the coursework for my dyslexia lab, and the focus was reading in vowel and consonant blends. I did embed our core adaptive program, Lexia Core 5, and all testers that I asked to evaluate this program were familiar with using the learning management system, Google Classroom. Now, why formulate this evaluation? I needed to make sure I had everything aligned for my students. The students that I service are a high-risk population, so I needed to make sure what I was providing met the guidelines. It was aligned to their needs. It was differentiated based on the prescriptive needs that they have, that there was implementation for our STAR redesign. They had opportunities to work on that. Also, why use the usability evaluation? So I could come back and reflect on my coursework and redesign and evaluate and come together to produce a really great product of coursework for those kids. So my usability testers were Ms. Benya and Ms. Reina. They are part of my blended learning team cohort here. They're also teachers that I work very closely with. Ms. Benya, I do service a lot of her students in the dyslexia lab, and Ms. Reina and I are actually housed in the same classroom. So we share the same students. So it'd be great for them to be able to evaluate the course based on what they see in their own classrooms. I also did get a focus group of some 3rd through 5th grade students, also in the dyslexia program, and all users or all testers, again, were familiar with the learning management system. So I did get really great feedback. One of the things that I learned is making sure that if I was not ready to share something like I did here, that I could hide it or put it in draft and the students wouldn't see it, or I didn't need to assign it to every student based on their needs. If it was differentiated for one student to the next, as you can see in this actual slide, then I didn't need to assign it to every student. Also going back to the tabs, right, the subtitles, making sure that I was either looking at a date or a week, right, what was better for the students. Now, my focus group, once they saw it, they said it was too overwhelming. They asked for less assignments under each subtitle that they could work with. They felt once they saw so many titles, they weren't going to get through with them and felt overwhelmed and anxious, and they just shut down. They also said that they liked the use of emojis throughout the titles. It said it's made them feel a little bit like friendlier, happier. They liked seeing the emojis. It was a little bit uplifting for them. So I needed to make sure that weekly goals are only shared at the time that we are using them, and then I would go ahead after we use them and place them in another folder so they wouldn't get overwhelmed. Another thing is making sure to provide enough opportunities in different ways for them to share and collaborate, and also to practice those typing skills and researching. So any kind of platforms such as Padlet, such as Gimkit, Booklet, any kind of other platforms, so they could start learning to manipulate the platforms for their own benefit. They did say that they did feel that they were they were valued, and their voice was developing ownership in the course. So they did like that they were able to collaborate, and it kind of felt like I trusted their opinion, which I do. It helped a lot to let me see through their eyes. The discussion and reflection, it created a better understanding of the targets that I need to fulfill for my students. I also learned about structuring and organizing the materials based on their needs, right? I was inputting things, but I needed to make sure it met their needs, not to be overwhelmed, and including the audio instructions for them. Again, empowering the learner is what I was trying to do throughout the course, and providing different activities for them so they could showcase their talents. Making sure that I was providing that assertive technology for them and embedding those opportunities for them to learn to manipulate programs. So again, providing drag and drops, Flipgrids for them. So I hope you enjoyed my review.